if you're going to take into this conversation, you got to understand that no one's really right or wrong. There's an objective truth. Objective truths really fall on the side a lot of times of like universal law. From my vantage point, mathematics is a system predicated on logic. Like, I need this to make sense in order for all of this to go the other way. So whether they're conscious of it, which they probably are, they bypass certain objective truths, where Terrence Howard is coming from a more divine perspective of like, well, geometrically, that doesn't make sense.
This the new top spot. You get a shot, better put it like the 38 special. It's trust game, bloody fangs, and it's still all blessed. Word of the crest on my fam, slide on beats like a banister. Life's a game of Thrones, pay your debts, I'm a Lannister. Nah, low slide on beats just like a banister. Life's a game of Thrones, pay your debts, I'm a Lannister.
What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of 𝐦𝐤𝐿𝐿 Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be reacting to Terrence Howard and Eric Weinstein's conversation that was on Joe Rogan. So, let's get into it. So, if you haven't checked out this podcast, you'll want to do that. Because of copyright issues and all of that, I'm not going to directly react to it, but rather just give you my perspective and takeaways on particular things. And you know, this is an astrology, spirituality-based channel. So our insights are really going to go towards that. There will be no mathematical explanations and all of that here. There is so much to say. And the first thing I'll say that I think this conversation is a quintessential example of Jupiter in Gemini playing out. And then if you add in the aspects, Saturn's presence in Pisces and Neptune's presence in Pisces, both of them retrograde. I feel like this is very much so playing out as it should. We want to keep in mind here, sun sign wise, I know Terrence Howard is a Pisces. So remember, he's representing a particular aspect of that energy. So I also want to let this be known. I took the time to digest all of this interview. So with that said, I'm giving you my perspective, particularly my third eye perspective. I may say something that pinches a nerve for you in whatever way, but you should just respect my perspective because I did the work to gather the perspective. So if you know you really didn't, just be easy. So I was going to say that what I just said applies to this argument because Terrence Howard, we know him as an actor. Over the last maybe 10 years at this point, he's had like a revelation, a divine download regarding advancements within the field of geometry and how we can understand mathematics as well as other things. He's been on a whole journey. And according to Terrence, you have to listen to the person. A lot of these insights and downloads are derived from his dream state. I think many of us out there who are spiritually inclined very much so understand this. And if you understand the astral world, you understand how this is possible. Okay? It's as above, so below. It's what we practice above is what we play out below. It's all there. It's just a matter of what you stumble upon and what you bring back. Terrence has been doing this. He's taken his understandings, his downloads, and he's acted upon them. Now, within his discoveries, one of the controversial things is regarding mathematics, which is outside of the scope of where his brilliance lies, but he has points. Within the scope of mathematics, he pointed out some flaws within their system just regarding numbers. And anyone who is competent and has lived and experienced math and has an understanding of life, numerology, and all of that, you understand exactly where Terrence is coming from, where that doesn't make sense. We can get into this many ways. It's not about right or wrong. What this is about, and I hope you guys are following me, is about systems or organizations or religions. Mathematics is a religion that have been built, sustained, that have their laws, Capricorn, right, of governance, that someone who's not a part of this is trying to dispel. So the simple way of saying this is that everybody is a part of things in life that has a certain layer of well, we don't fully understand that, or that doesn't make sense, but let's chalk it up to God. In every realm of life, particularly coming from a state of not knowing, that's how it was. It was like, all right, I know as much as my logical mind can comprehend. The rest of this that doesn't make sense, let's just chalk it up to God. That's really how it went. So within mathematics, like I said, I'm not going to go into all of the technical stuff. Watch the interview. But I think anyone with a sound mind can understand the perspectives. What I honor is how in the religion of mathematics, how they want to do their thing is how they want to do it. So one thing we got to understand here is that if you're going to take into this conversation, you got to understand that no one's really right or wrong. There's an objective truth. Objective truths really fall on the side a lot of times of like universal law. So from my vantage point, mathematics is a system predicated on logic. Like, I need this to make sense in order for all of this to go the other way. So whether they're conscious of it, which they probably are, they bypass certain objective truths, where Terrence Howard is coming from a more divine perspective of like, well, geometrically, that doesn't make sense. But so I think the key thing here is there's a difference here of geometry and certain mathematics, all right? So as you watch the talk and hear Terrence's perspective and really what he's produced, I think you'll understand why he's received this particular pushback. Now, some things that you may have missed within this talk is with the brother Eric Weinstein, is that you have to remember he is a mathematician first. Whether or not he is actively pursuing something in that area, it's like an oath or a badge of honor that he takes pride in, like a religion. So if when you watch the talk, you'll see that there are times where he is discrediting Terrence unnecessarily, particularly when it comes onto his patents. And he's doing that because his oath of being a mathematician or whatever is aligned with that in his ego feels a need to defend this. Now, I'm speaking about this because I feel like this is a part of human nature. And like I said, a working of the ego. I've seen this play out so much while Uranus was in Aries and all the police brutality was going on, and people who were the family members of police officers didn't want to hear shit about that. It's like, well, my person is not that. All right. So we all are carrying around these unconscious biases, but the work of conscious evolution is to be able to bypass that, to see objectively. All right. And a lot of times I'm letting y'all know, seeing objectively is not taking a fucking side. It is what it is. And when you do that, it allows you to observe a lot more. So what I'm saying is that I believe there was a very clear unconscious bias. Eric Weinstein was being a double agent. He was trying to come off as open-minded and here to learn, which on some level he probably was. But deep down, because you are who you are, how you identify the egoic level, there your ego comes to battle, which leads me to other points. I don't know if anyone else really was realizing, but he was speaking in a very condescending way, and as I said before, trying to demean some of the things in which Terrence was trying to get a point and get a points he was trying to get across. And I just got to say this because it's very important for anyone out there. Academia deals with a lot of theory. Scientists like to run experiments, therefore, eventually produce something, right? But that's people who undergo or who even consider themselves academic. They like to talk and discuss ideas. But the evolved mind realizes that when I get an idea, I need to put it in motion. I need to make it tangible. I need to see it. I need to go through the process, or it just becomes something we keep talking about and expanding upon it. So my third eye says the fact that Terrence Howard has all of these patents shows that there's more depth to his understanding than his words can explain. And when you really look at it, guys like Eric Weinstein and their formulas, and it's all theory. It's one of those things. So I say that to say this. Being born in the generation I'm born of, I know that there are always geniuses being born, right? But there are going to be people born with innate abilities and understandings that no one had to teach them. But there's a certain generation that doesn't want to accept that, or just a certain layer of being. People, like I said, we have biases. And I kind of want to extend it to this point. This is kind of like a good segue too. Like in astrology, you know your chart, and we all do this on a human level, and it's cool. But like, we aren't really supposed to be attached to the sign. Yeah, we find camaraderie with our people of the same sign and things like that. But you should never be so biased that you can't accept the fault of the sign. That completely negates what astrology is about, which is about knowing thyself on various levels, the high and the low. So with that said, I really want to point this out. Furthermore, in the interview, there were times that Weinstein's self was like acknowledging that Terrence was brilliant in particular ways, but then kept trying to show him how he wasn't in comparison towards his system or religion, which is mathematics. So the big thing here, guys, is that you want to be mindful of how much allegiance you pledge to a thing. I have a love for astrology, a passion for it, right? But that doesn't stop me from, let's say, not like socializing or learning from others who don't believe in astrology. You understand? Where we're going, you need to be coming with an open mind and an open heart, because Terrence versus the math department is representing what's on the rise, which is spirit in its natural essence in the body, loaded in, able to download, put shit together outside of the systems that have been put in place. So titles are things of the ego. A teacher is a teacher by the way they live their life, not by where they go from 8 to 3, right? So many things I could compare this to, but I hope all this makes sense. I just wanted to touch on this. I want you and this to serve as a reminder to watch things with your eye. When you do, and you have the attention span, you can see what's not there. Okay. And And the next big thing is that you have to believe in yourself and your own perspective. Titles mean nothing. Work does. So that's it. Feel free, chime in. Let me know what you think. If you need a reading, check out my website. Check out my book, Astrology of the Matrix. So next time, peace.